Hey guys, welcome back to another Underground Virtuosos video. My name is Paul. I'm a violin viola teacher located here in San Diego, California. So today we're going to be talking about part 1 of spiccato. We're going to learn how to control the spiccato and understand any mechanical, technical challenges that comes with spiccato. Now, for those of you that don't know, spiccato is bouncing your bow. So something like this. So as you can see, my bow was coming off the string, and in a way it is bouncing. So we're going to get into that, learn how to control it, and understand any technical challenges. So let's get started. If you have your instrument and you would like to try this with me, it'll be great. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just feel the bow's natural bounce. So every bow has a bounce to it, and depending on the bow, there could be one specific place that bounces more than others, but in general speaking, it's usually somewhere between middle and I would say the balance point. It's somewhere sitting somewhere around here, and we're just going to first feel what the bow feels like if it's just bouncing. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to place your bow about 2 inches or so above the string. And I'm going to ask you to just relax your right hand, allow the bow to drop. Now, don't actually drop your bow, just drop it onto the string like so. Okay, so you can see that my bow bounces a little bit. After I let go, it's bouncing slightly. And this has nothing to do with my fingers. I am not trying to press, not trying to make it do that movement. I'm just letting the bow do its thing. It's very similar to a ball. You know, like if you let go of a basketball, it bounces, and then slowly it gets lower and lower in the bouncing, and it eventually stops, right? So it's kind of like that. It's the same idea. Now, the second thing now we're going to do is we're now going to try to maintain that bounce. So in order to maintain a good proper bounce, you have to have a very, very relaxed bow hold, okay? You have to trust your bow that's going to bounce. That's probably one of the most important things about spiccato, if not the most important thing, is to not get in the way by trying to make your bow move up and down. That's not really bouncing. That would become a controlled lifting and placing down your bow. But spiccato is like a little understanding, you know, between the player and the bow that okay, we have to let the bow bounce and let it do its thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to now let go, except this time I want you to maintain the bounce a little bit. So all you have to do is give it a little bit of that dribbling feeling, like if you would to dribble a basketball, for example, and then you have to, once it's going down, it's out of your hands. But when it comes back, you need to give it another tap on the top, right? Now, important thing to understand, when we bounce spiccato, it doesn't work like this, okay? Because this still means that our finger here is in a way a little bit stiff, and it is trying to make the bow bounce. Okay, that's a false impression of that you are performing spiccato. It may sound like nice and short notes, like, you know, but it's not the proper way to do it. So what you have to imagine is your entire bow here, including the frog area, is moving up and down like so. Okay, so when you are bouncing, you should not see something like this. If you have to practice in front of the mirror, it would be very easy to see. You should not see something like this, but you should see something like this, where everything from frog to tip bounce equally, which means you have to have a very, very relaxed right hand, right fingers, arm, everything has to be fairly relaxed in order to allow this movement right here. Okay, so we're gonna give it a try. Same thing, above 2 inches above the string, and you're just gonna let go. So you're gonna be slightly under the middle part of the bow. Okay, I'm gonna let go, and you're gonna try to maintain the bounce. Here we go. So as you can see, when I was bouncing, my bow was moving this way. I want you to pay really attention to the frog to tip to see if the bow is moving evenly. What you should not see when you're doing it is something like this. Okay, so it should move evenly. The whole bow is moving parallel, lifting off and coming back down. Okay, so that's very important. Now we're going to do a little test. This test is to see if you're actually letting the bow bounce or are you getting in the way. And this test is simple. So once you get started on this bow bouncing, what I'm going to ask you to do is lift your index, your ring finger, and your pinky, which means you only have your thumb and your middle finger on the bow left. So lifting all of those at once, like so. Okay, so as you can see, I lift my bow off. Now, it's not going to like feel the nicest, and it's going to be a little bit to get control of at first. But then you will really see, if you can do that, once you practice a little bit, you will really see how your bow is capable of bouncing without you really trying to make it go up and down, up and down. It's not your hand's job to make it do that movement. It's simply trusting the bow that it's capable of bouncing on its own. Okay, so once you can do that right here, then the next step we're going to do is simply add a little bit of a V shape. So imagine the little V shape. Okay, so now you're going to add a little down bow and a little up bow, but your job is to try to stay in the same point. So don't move your V and now you're near the upper half or something. Okay, so you're going to try to stay in the same area, near the same point as much as you can, like so. So I'm going to start this. So you can see I'm staying in this area right here. I'm not going. Okay, because then you will start to lose control, and if you go too high past where it's comfortable for the bow to bounce, then you will lose that bounce. If you go too low, same thing. So you have to remain in that same area and do your best to make a small V and not like a wide one. Okay. Now, if you are having trouble maintaining that bounce or that V shape, go back and really try to practice when we were able to lift our fingers off to maintain the bounce. Okay, it's all about understanding that your bow is capable of doing the spiccato without you doing too much to the stroke itself. Okay, it's trusting that your bow can do so. All right, so that's the part one of this spiccato to get you started on bouncing the bow and to learn how to control it properly. The term control really kind of means you staying out of the way of the bow and letting it do its thing. And remember to always relax your fingers, your hand, your arm, and the bow moves parallel up and down. Okay, all right, so if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in part 2. Thank you for watching.